Wow. Amazing. Another round of applause for the university choir. It's incredible to see how passionate these guys are. From where I was sitting, you could just see the smiles on their face and how good they are at what they do. Moving on swiftly, now we are entering into speeches section. And to start us off will be Mr. Mutisia Mutie, the co-chair and head of partnerships in the David Musau Mumama Steering Committee. So let us give him a round of applause as Mutisia comes on stage. Yes. Karibu sana.
The CEO of the National Council for Law Reporting, Ms. Janet Munyuki, the designate representative to the CEO of the Media Council of Kenya, the DVC Academics, Research and Student Affairs, Professor Samuel Murithi, the Dean of the School of Law, Dr. Maurice Ajong, Mr. Aye Bokayo, Faculty Coordinator, partners, participants, good morning. Ngugi wa Thiong'o, God rest his soul, once wrote that the right to speak is the right to be human. When citizens speak out, they are not sowing chaos, they are planting the seeds of a just society. First and foremost, I would like to honor the lives that have been lost, the voices that have been silenced, and the pain that continues to echo throughout our nation as a result of recent and past protests. Across our country, thousands took to the streets, not in violence, but in peaceful protests. They marched for dignity, for accountability, for good governance, and for the right to be heard. The rights granted by our Constitution, but yet tragically, they are subjected to brutality. Peaceful demonstrations have disrupted with excessive force. Families have buried their children, not because they broke the law, but because they dared to speak truth to power. In spirit, we remember the following heroes that paid the ultimate price for applying the freedom of expression and the right to protest: Kennedy Onyango, Ibrahim Kamau, Rex Masai, Bisley Kamau, David Chege, Eric Shieni, Evans Kiraitu, Abdi Kader, amongst many others. Today, we recommit ourselves to the values for which these citizens stood for. We affirm the freedom of expression is not a privilege to be granted selectively, but a fundamental right guaranteed to all. We affirm that peaceful protests is not a threat to our democracy, but rather a sign that the University of Embu and the University of Nairobi Parklands campus. Similarly, we are grateful for a supportive community of partners that have gone beyond their way to ensure that this edition happens with all relevant support we had sought out from them. We are deeply indebted to all civil society groups and members of the legal and media community that promised to work with us even before we shared any detailed proposals. This affirms our conviction that we have individuals out here striving and fighting for the protection of human dignity every day by all means, be it through long hours of boardroom meetings, quick Uber rides to catch and connect between meetings, mountains of paperwork, and numerous sensitization programs. For the first edition of the Daystar Media Moot Court competition, we are graced and honored to have partnered with the following amazing entities, which have incredible individuals working for them in their own right: Amnesty International Kenya, Siasa Place, the Media Council of Kenya, the International Commission of Jurists, the Kenyan section, Triple OK Law Advocates, FKC Legal and Company Advocates, Munyawa Madhama and Kashindi Advocates, Data Privacy and Governance Society, Journalism Students Association of Kenya, Article 19 Eastern Africa, the National Council for Law Reporting, the Independent Policing and Oversight Authority, and the Center for Moots and Research Africa. Further, I cannot forget the very vital role that Daystar University has played in making this event a success. We are greatly and deeply indebted to our beloved Daystar, the source of our committee's inspiration, strength, and pride. We give special mentions to the Daystar University Senate, the Chief Finance Manager, CPA Phyllis Mutua, the Dean of the School of Law, Dr. Maurice Ajong, the HOD Public Law, Dr. Anyo Nyamboga, the Faculty Moot Court Coordinator, Mr. Aye Bokayo, our School Administrator, Ms. Grace Mumbua, and Mr. Sam Awar from University Services, not to mention the DPU and the University Choir that has given quite an emotional performance. Without your combined effort, this competition would have remained an unrealized brainchild of ours. We are grateful and proud of being part of the Daystar family. And finally, to our participants, through this academic endeavor, please remember that our country depends on us, our parents depend on us, and our future generation depends on us to create and fight for a world that strongly protects and upholds the rule of law, with no exceptions whatsoever. Your tools are your research and oral advocacy skills. Use them accordingly, not just in this competition, but also out there as we fight for the nation we want and yearn for. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mr. Mutisia. So coming up next is the patron for the Daystar Media Moot Court competition, and he is Dr. Anio Nyamboga. Please, a round of applause as he makes his way on stage. Yes, karibu sana daktari.
Good morning to all of us. My students, some of my students say I speak a lot, so they advise that I read the speech they have prepared. So if I sound very intelligent in that speech, please give them the credit. Distinguished guests, esteemed colleagues, learning friends, ladies and gentlemen. It's a profound honor to stand before you today as the patron of the Students' Legal Moot Association at Daystar and senior faculty at the School of Law, Daystar School of Law, whose heartbeat is media communication law. Today marks not just the beginning of a competition, but it marks, Thank you, Holiness. It's good that the young ones are here, especially when you are on the 6th floor like me. There are many challenges. Very well. I was saying today marks not just the beginning of a competition, but it marks the convergence of passion, intellect, and purpose. To the 17 law schools that are represented here today, I have to take this opportunity to congratulate you for coming this way and this far. Your presence basically shows that legal education in Kenya is growing by leaps and bounds, and the power of student-led initiatives to shape what the nation should be discussing. To our partners, both in civil and society and government, we thank you for working with us this far. Your support basically shows that you value the collaboration in defending constitutional rights. The theme of this year's competition is basically protecting the right to protest and the role then freedom of expression will play in that regard. This is really timely and very vital, especially where we are in our country today. The freedoms to basically, the freedom to protest, the freedom of expression are rights and not mere privileges that are granted to us by the state. They are the livelihood of our democracy. They allow us, you and me, to speak truth to power, to challenge injustice, and to imagine a better society. Yet, these rights are not self-executing. it requires you and me again to take up the responsibility of defending them. So they require vigilant defense, thoughtful interpretation, and courageous advocacy. And as learning friends, as future lawyers, this is where you come in. As a law school, that is Daystar School of Law, whose niche is media and communication law, we understand the delicate balance between expression and regulation. In an era such as where we are, the digital space, which gives us an opportunity to amplify voices and misinformation alike, the legal profession must rise to the challenge of protecting speech while preserving truth. The right to protest is increasingly exercised online, and the courtroom must evolve to meet the complexities of this new terrain. So which is the laboratory? The Moot Court is your laboratory. It is your arena to test the ideas, to sharpen arguments, and engage with the law not as a static text, but as a living instrument of justice. So we'll encourage you to argue boldly, we'll encourage you to listen deeply, and we'll encourage you to respect your opponents and honor the spirit of the law, even as you engage in this Moot Court competition. So let us compete, and let us not just look at this competition as just that, a contest, but let it be a catalyst to many other things that we require to do as future lawyers. Let it be a catalyst for legal innovation, for civic engagement, and for a generation of lawyers who will not only interpret the law, but shape it. In closing, I will take the words of Lady Justice Iman Dawood Aboud of the African Court of Human and People's Rights. Give me the liberty to know, to utter, and to argue freely according to conscience, above all liberties. May your arguments be sharp, your minds open, and your commitment to justice unwavering. Thank you, and after all the talk, let the competition begin. Thank you.
Thank you so much. A round of applause for him one more time. Yes, and now up next is your one and only Dean for the School of Law, Dr. Maurice Ajwang. Yes, a round of applause for him as he makes his way on stage. Karibu sana, karibu sana. One more time for him, please. Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much. And when you say the one and only, that is music to my ears. DVC ARSA, Professor Samuel Mureithi, CEO, National Council for Law Reporting, Ms. Janet Munyoki, representing the CEO, Media Council of Kenya, Mr. Victor Bwire. We do not have Amnesty International here yet. Amnesty International, representing the CEO, Mr. Irungu, my colleagues, and colleagues again from the Media Council of Law Reporting, students, and all guests. Good morning and shalom. I appear to have committed a mistake which I was warned yesterday by HOD Public Law, and he had indicated that it is best to have a written speech. I do not have a written speech, but all the same, I think I will be able to maneuver without that written speech. In introduction, my name is Maurice Ajuang Woor. I'm the Dean of the School of Law. Daystar School of Law, maybe just for your information, is a relatively young school, but it is a school with great ambition. And this media moot court competition is a testimony to that ambition. You may want to appreciate that Daystar School of Law takes mooting very seriously. And this is why among the continuous assessment tests for all our courses, mooting is one of the tests. So that out of the 40 marks, there is 10 marks awarded to students for their participation in mooting events. So therefore, for purposes of assessment, mooting is one of the assessments we do here at the School of Law. And this, for us, is a manner in which mooting is able to support teaching and learning. And that is also in conformity with what we call the problem-based learning, where we endeavor to ensure that students are able to, apply the theory they learn in practice. And there is no better way than through mooting. Allow me to say that mooting is taken seriously here, and we also have a mooting society, and we have a coordinator of mooting, Mr. Ayub Okayo, and that kind of initiative has ensured that our mooting has remained at a very high level. And the testimony to our mooting is in the competitions which we have participated in. I think last year, during the All Africa Moot Court competitions, we were placed number 4 in the African continent. And last year, we also did win the Unwanted Witness Moot Court competitions. And therefore, it is not surprising that there was a deliberate and conscious decision to establish the Daystar Media Moot Court competition. And the Daystar Media Moot Court competition is also aligned to our niche area. Our niche area is media and communications law. So therefore, this particular moot resonates with our niche area. And as you're aware, every school of law has a niche area. And the topic for the moot competition, I think, could not have been more appropriate. This topic could not have been more appropriate. And this is with the backdrop of the Gen Z demonstrations starting last year. And therefore, the question of protests, the question of freedom of association are questions which increasingly have become very important in our country. And maybe before I exit the stage, I would just want to maybe share with the young learners here that fundamental rights and freedoms are intertwined. To the extent that, for example, when we talk about the right to protest, and we talk about the right to freedom of expression, these rights are so intertwined that when we say that a person has the right to protest, then we are also saying that that protest is an expression in itself. The protest is an expression in itself. And it is possible to protect rights during demonstration and even after demonstration. And there are various media for doing so. And again, for purposes of just appreciating as law students the manner in which fundamental rights and freedoms are intertwined, I would want to believe that you're familiar with a philosopher by the name of John Locke. John Locke says that there are three inalienable rights: right to life, right to property, and the right to liberty. These are the three inalienable rights. You cannot take these rights away. And he even goes further to say that the state does not confer these rights. The state cannot purport to give and to take. And maybe for young learners who may be activists, it is important to have that concept that there are certain rights which the state does not confer, and the state does not have power to take away. And these inalienable rights are also intertwined with the freedom of expression, and they're also intertwined with the right to protest. Because you cannot enjoy life, you cannot enjoy your right to life if you cannot agitate. You cannot enjoy your property if you are not able to express dissatisfaction with those in authority. You cannot enjoy freedom or liberty, again, if you cannot, express yourselves. So therefore, I would want to basically just maybe bring to your attention that as you learn, you should be able to see the interconnection between the various laws, and therefore not to take laws, in isolation. And as law students, the more you are grounded in law, then the more you can say that you will not be a victim to the position of being ignorant of the law. And they say ignorance of the law is no defense. So therefore, I see this particular competition as a possibility of deepening your knowledge in law, improving your oratory skills, improving, improving your knowledge, and therefore, making you a better law student, and eventually a better legal practitioner. So therefore, with those very many remarks, I would also want to again recognize and appreciate our partners, Kenya Law, Ms. Janet Munyoki, for being here with us. And in our conversation, I saw there were very many possibilities of partnerships. I would want to congratulate Victor Buire, standing in for the CEO from the National Council, from the National Media Council, again for the possibilities which the CEO alluded to earlier this morning. Okay, I would also want to appreciate Amnesty International for also partnering with us, and Amnesty is a big player in relation to the rights of freedom of expression and the right to protest. So again, we also thank you very much. And all the other partners who are represented here, we have IPOA, we have JSAC, and JSAC, I think a pictorial presentation out there is very appropriate. We have law firms like MMK, we have FKC Legal, MMK, that is Munyao Muthama Kashindi is already MMK, and Center for Moots and Research, Article 19, Data Privacy and Governance, ICJ. So all these are partners who will be extremely useful to our law school, even as we seek for internships. So all these become possible destinations for internships, and we thank them very much. I would also want to thank all the universities present here. This is, this is unique that we have 15 universities in the inaugural competition of the Daystar Media Moot Court competition. So the universities, we thank you very much for being here. And then I would also want to thank DUSOLA, our Students Association, who have been instrumental in the organization of this event, and our patron, Mr. Ayub Okayo. Ayub Okayo continues to do an extremely wonderful job. That is why I think our mooting team is now, a serious competitor in all these competitions. But again, I think this is a competition which is open, and any team which demonstrates competence and demonstrates knowledge will be able to carry the day. I should also have recognized corporate affairs, Madam Kimilu, also for the support, and not to forget the choir. The choir has done a good job. They have taken us through the national anthem, the East African Community Anthem, and the Daystar Anthem. And to everybody, thank you very much. I hope that you have a fulfilling time as we go through this Daystar Media Moot Court competition. Thank you very much.
One more time for Daktari. Now, as I was seated there, I was thinking to myself, wow, and he didn't have a speech written down. So what if he had a speech? Daktari, just a question. When you're in university and it was your turn to present, did you feel like you intimidated your fellow students at the time with your articulation?
Every time you are before a crowd, there is, some sense of apprehension, and I think that is normal. And in life, I think what is important is that you should be able to confront your fears every time. Okay, and they say courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is going forward even when you're afraid. Okay? You go forward even when you're afraid. That is courage. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Please. Moving on, we have Mr. David Omoyo, the Chief Executive Officer of the Media Council of Kenya. A round of applause as he makes his way on stage, please. Yes. Karibu sana.
Thank you. Point of correction, I'm not David Omoyo. I am Victor Buire, OGW, the Director for Media Training and Development at the Media Council of Kenya. But I'm representing David Omoyo, MBS, CEO of Media Council of Kenya. Now, obviously, apologies for Moyo for having left before reading his speech, which he explained to the DVC, he understands. And we are happy that today in the morning, other than the speech, we signed an MOU, a memorandum of understanding with Daystar University to carry out a number of issues, including almost everything on earth that is practical. So happy again that we have that now formally drawn a way of regulating, and Dr. here was worried. Doc who worked with him for many years at the Standard newspaper, and then later is a personal friend. So that is a major milestone. We have been sporadically dealing with Daystar. I've taught many times the communications department unit, both at River and here, many times. Even I think 3 weeks ago, we were sponsoring the climate change conference for Daystar. So we have related with Daystar whites. Daystar has nearly 8 or 9 students at the Media Council of Kenya, alumni, so it's a big team there. So we are grateful. Now, obviously, on behalf of Moyo, on behalf of my colleagues who are here, I have nearly 10 of my colleagues from the Media Council here who are doing different things. We want to appreciate and thank Daystar, community led by the DVC, who present for the wonderful work you are doing, and obviously say that this is the beginning of many things to come. So we are celebrating the beginning. Obviously, like our CEO mentioned, while principally I'm a journalist, but now I moved to journalism programming and thinking. When we saw the invitation for the Moot, and one of my colleagues actually is a judge, Jamila Yesho, we already saw 10 programs. And that's why we said we'll relook at the MOU and expand it a bit, because we already saw 10 opportunities that Media Council and Daystar can obviously collaborate and move forward. Already aware, because before I joined the Media Council of Kenya, I worked at the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights and Article 19, actually. I was in charge of 10 countries in Africa. And Article 19 is purely Article 19 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which the biggest challenge we have had, and even today as we are speaking, is that we don't have enough media lawyers. None. If we have a case today in Wajir, Kisii, Busia, we have to pay a lawyer from Nairobi to transport if we have a case, and we are going through every day. And so there's a big gap that we don't have enough lawyers who have specialized on media and communication law. So obviously, Dr. I see you saw that gap that is there, huge. Yet, media and communication law is where money is. I'm sure nobody's doing these things for free. Sure. You want to work or learn where you will get something better. So media and communication space is now the biggest opportunity for people. Internet regulation, innovations, technology law, and the media content moderation, surveillance, electronic and related surveillance, because they relate to freedom of expression. And those are areas we are happy that a number of you from the various universities, in addition to the Moot, are areas that we will be doing. And Dr. feel free anytime to get people from the Media Council of Kenya as guest lecturers during your sessions, especially on matters related to freedom of expression and related regulations. It will help you a lot. So we are willing again within outside to help. And not obviously sometimes at a cost. Sometimes that's the work we are paid to do every day. So when I come to give a lecture at Daystar, I don't need to be paid again, because that's the salary Kenyans pay me. and Media Council is a public institution, as you are aware, created the operationalization of Article 34.5 of the Constitution. So the Council regulates media practice. Discipline of journalists, safety and protection, advisory to the government on media and communication related briefs. So that's the work. We have 15 functions in the Act: media development and media regulation, and the media complaints handling. Again, there's a complaints commission where if you have any complaint against the media or media content, you refer to that complaints commission, which then will listen. So media is not a rogue industry, as people say. There's a full body created by an act of parliament to deal with the complaints against the media. So please utilize it. Now, we are happy because having worked at Article 19 and then the topic, protecting protest through freedom of expression, we look very minimalistically at freedom of expression, and people only mention that Article 33 and 34 of the Constitution, and they only mention things that favor them, freedom of expression. Not aware that your freedom of expression or your freedom ends at the level when you are infringing on other people's freedoms. So freedom of expression is not an absolute right. It has limitations, and if you read Article 33, The limitations on freedom of expression, they are there. Largely, Article 19 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which he has mentioned, Article 19 of the ICCPR, International Convention on Civil and People's Rights, the African Charter for Human and People's Rights, Article 9, which obviously now is here, and then the East African community has all those things. The challenge has been always that people are protesting in a different environment. And the freedom of expression does not limit itself to media freedom alone. There's cultural freedom, religious freedom, artistic freedom, and then media freedom. Again, let's read it in a very expanded manner so that we don't limit it to media freedom alone. And already away from this. So as we talk about protests, what are a few emerging issues that, because the normal role of media and they say inform educator, those are songs that we have been sung, everybody knows the role of media in democracy, all those things. But media, especially with the introduction of digital platforms, innovations and technology, has obviously changed. And for that reason, Dr. Again, there's now a new code of ethics, which you now need to bring to your school. We have now the code of ethics for media practice in Kenya, 2025. So we have expanded the definition of what is media. It's no longer the newsroom. It's no longer the radio, TV, and television. That now media in the new, and they are reviving the Media Council of Act is being amended very soon, is to recognize that now the various digital platforms we have mentioned, the blogging, YouTube, Twitter, and all the digital content producers, and any other means media now. And that's broadly how UNESCO defines it. So we have expanded. So we will require you, Dr. Ari, as you start to introduce that topic. Again, a big confusion between communication and media ethics and the Code of Ethics of Practice of Journalism. The law in Kenya Media Council Act, second schedule, provides for a Code of Ethics for Media Practice, which is a professional code. It had 25 articles, it now has 12. But a number of our universities, other than Maseno, I hope you will introduce it here, because in the communication department here where I teach, they have not mainstreamed that. People teach communication and media ethics, which is largely about truth and the defense of truth. They confuse it with the Code of Ethics for Media Practice as provided for by the Media Council Act, second schedule. So that when people come to the Complaints Commission, when they have been facing a challenge, people break down and start crying, including lawyers, that they have never heard about the Code of Ethics for the practice. So the communication and ethics you are teaching, Walimu, is not the Code of Ethics as provided for by the law. So please harmonize. It will save you a lot. And the young lawyers that are upcoming. So we are happy, and the Media Council will continue supporting in whichever way, like I mentioned. We already see huge opportunities here. The country is just coming up with the media and digital literacy. That the regulation of media today, the way media councils and other people were created was a police approach. Allow somebody to make a mistake on media, then go to court and sue under defamation or under the penal code or others. Yet the media we are talking about today, when people have Netflix in their room, how will you know they are watching harmful content? You can't. You have no capacity. So investments globally are now investing in media and digital literacy. That let's empower you to become your own self-regulator, to know what is good for you. Responsible consumption of media content. The policing approach has failed. And some of you have, Dr. We have read Levinson inquiry in Britain and others, that regulating through a police approach cannot work. People must be empowered to regulate themselves by understanding what's happening. And this is coming through media and information. And that's one big project we are going to work with Daystar immediately on digital and media literacy, especially for youth, as you are aware, so that they become responsible. People are using digital platforms to make money. While in Kenya, a number of us use digital platform to insult others and do all forwarded as received so many things, useless things. Yet, this is now room for where people are making money. If you have a YouTube, you have a TV channel that you are giving good content, it's a source of income. You'll never look for employment anywhere. But a number of our youth are not utilizing that way. So that's the major thing we are working on, which we obviously see in this that we will work with Daystar. So that's a huge opportunity for us. I think the other things will follow, trainings and the rest. But we want to assure you that this is the best way. Academic institutions and academic halls have almost died. While as the president of the student journalists was telling us what happened, at that time the Orengos, the what, if we went to any academic hall, at that time largely Taifa Hall, every Friday, it was booming. See, Daktari, with the intellectual discussions, the contribution of intellectuals and academy in democracy, in the country's development, and the rest is dead. Rarely do we hear these things. And so the thinking like this Moot and related is very encouraging, that we are bringing back students to start engaging at an early age on national issues, on human rights issues at a very early age, so that by the time they are graduating school, they have interacted with some of these issues, unlike what is happening currently. So that's a very, very positive thing that we will continue supporting. I think the other thing I will request now, having worked in this, in addition to having been in media and in defense, I was an undercover journalist for Nation for 3 years, an investigative journalist for 3 years. And the things we are seeing today, Dr. again, which you must also start thinking as we teach our youth to protest, is what are the risks that come with protests? That we have lost a lot of youth during protests. So we must also start thinking on the safety while you are protesting. Why do police come to disperse protests? Those are issues we must help people understand. That police legally can, and there are laws. While we quote Article 33, 34, and 35 as the protection for media freedom, for freedom of expression, but we still have 21 laws in our statutes that limit these 3 laws that we talk about. That's why globally, Kenya has been rated number 119 below Djibouti in terms of freedom of expression. Why? Because we retain 21 laws. While we have 3 that we talk about, the best in the world, freedom, Article 33, 34, and 35, but what about these other 21 that negate? We still have Official Secrets Act in our laws. We still have Public Management Order Act in our laws. We still have the Copyright Act. What does it say? You go to almost all security-related laws, the National Police Service Act, the National Defense Police Act, the National State Intelligence Act, Prevention of Terrorism Act, Prevention of Money Laundering Act, and those were laws that were passed in 2012, almost all of them. They big time negate these 3 articles that we talk about. And those are the laws that the police use most of the time. Public Management Act, we have been staying here in protest for more than 2 hours. We must secure the security of others who are not participating in the protest. And that's how they started, because we still have the Public Order Management Act. We still even have the Chiefs Act that have very weird provision of freedom of expression. So we must start look at even the Archives and Documentation Act, the National Statistics Act. They are there, 21 laws that negate the 3 that we talk about. And that's how state uses. Look at even the Penal Code. It still talks about publication of false news when we have Computer and Cybercrime Act, you know. So without belaboring, that we need also in the courses, as we teach students and our youth to participate in protests, we also allow them to understand the laws that negate or reduce this. Safety at a personal level. What are the safety measures? People go to protest while the youth go innocently to participate. The goons go in the backpacks they are wearing, they have water, they have a handkerchief, but they also have an axe, a panga, and a dangerous weapon they use to break people's shops immediately during the protest, and we have seen it. So police will tell us, while you say they are youths, but when we arrested them, what did we find them in their bags? They had dangerous weapons. So why do you arm yourself? Even as you protest and document, like you are telling us the documentation, what angle do you take? So that you are at safe, a bullet does not end your life. So there are issues that continuously would be interesting, and Amnesty is here, they know. what we have gone through. But we want to encourage you that continue doing what you are doing. And Daystar, we pray that God opens more opportunities, more resources for you, so that you continue the wonderful work we are doing. I want to wish you well, and thank you.
Let's appreciate him one more time. Amazing, amazing. Our next speaker she's someone that leads the vital task of ensuring that Kenya's laws are accurately documented and accessible to all. Her commitment to transparency and the rule of law reflects her deep belief in empowering citizens through knowledge. Under her guidance, the Council continues to strengthen the foundation of Kenya's legal systems and its jurisprudence. I am not a law student, so please bear with me. I do not understand the term jurisprudence, but what I understand is that you guys can help me welcome Ms. Janet Munyoki. A round of applause for her as she makes her way on stage. Yes. Please, let's keep encouraging her. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you so much. Karibu sana.
Good afternoon, or is it good morning? Is it good morning? Great. The DVC, the Dean, School of Law, I wish to write on the protocols that have already been laid out very ably by our Dean, and and say that we are very happy as the National Council for Law Reporting to join Daystar University, particularly in this inaugural, very important first edition, 2025, of the media Moot Court competitions. And quite happily say that we endeavor to partner and support our law schools, particularly because of the space that we occupy at the National Council for Law Reporting. How many of us have interacted with Kenya law? Show of hands. Great. So I'm speaking from a point of information that at least we have interacted with Kenya law. And so why this critical meeting here and inauguration of these Moot competitions is quite important for us is because it closely links with what we do at Kenya Law, which is two things, actually three. The first one is on law reporting, and Fidel asked what is jurisprudence. Law revision, which is a mandate that we have been delegated by the Honorable Attorney General, and I'll also speak about that a bit. And then the third one, which is the most important, publication of this law. So ensuring that it is reachable to the public, to yourselves as students, to researchers, to faculties, to everybody, mwananchi. And that they can actually consume this information in whichever format it is presented. If there is they are living, if there are persons with disabilities, they can be able to use, for instance, assistive devices to engage with the publications that we offer. And so, with respect to law reporting, and this one links very closely to the Moot courts, is that we are so passionate about four things. Critical thinking, right? Because when you're mooting on an issue, you have to apply some critical thinking around it. You have to do research, the second very important thing, meaning that even as you place your arguments or your presenting your point forward, it needs to be a point that has some, is, a basis in terms of new knowledge, new information, statistics, data, evidence, very, very important. The third one is advocacy, because as you moot on a point, you're actually trying to build in an advocacy lobbying element. Why? Because you have to convince the other side on why it is so critical that the position that you hold must be the one that carries the day. And then the last one, which is now where which places where we are, writing, critical writing skills. Yeah. I know we've done papers, we've done what is it called, Dean? This when you're in the master's program, dissertations, theses, and so on and so forth. So critical writing becomes also very important, and it is because at the law reporting, and I'm coming to answer what Fidel asked, is not every decision makes it to the Kenya law reports, which are those volumes that you see, yeah, the maroon volumes. Why? Because they need to be decisions that either have furthered the law, so they have improved on a law. They are novel, It is an issue that the country is struggling with at the moment, and we do not have any laws that can support that, or there's some research that is ongoing, or there's a lot of debate nationally, and therefore policies are coming up, bills are being debated within our public participation spaces, and so it is such a novel area that it must find its way within the Kenya law reports. Or it could be that it is a decision that is quite a new phenomena that the country is grappling with, but within other countries, there's some growth in that. And so for us to ensure that knowledge is spread across, then it finds its way in the Kenya law report. So it has to be a decision that is setting precedent, is leading the way, yeah? And so that's a passion that we have in ensuring that we meet this. Then on the other one, the law revision, and I will touch on what Dean mentioned and also Bwire mentioned about ensuring that the laws, particularly that touch on this particular area, communication, expression, how we protest, and so on and so forth. Law revision, which is the consolidation of the laws to identify within a particular year how many laws were amended, how many are in the pipeline of being amended, how many were repealed, and on what basis. What are those bills or policies that are existing that touch on various laws? So the law revision process becomes very important. Why? And particularly because in the discourse that we are in right now is that, and you will agree with me, a lot of our laws, most of them were drafted in a period where our country, it has changed, it has evolved. So they were either drafted when, the issues that we are dealing with today about that clamor for expression, that clamor of being heard, the public participation models that used to exist in the past have changed, Right now you can be able to participate in the comfort of your home or wherever. You don't have to walk into halls, social halls, so the current dispensation that we are in right now, that atmosphere, that environment has changed. And therefore, in ensuring that our laws then align with the societal changes, they are able to conform to the articles of the Constitution. We have bodies that work on that, yeah? We have government agencies that work on that. But then the law revision exercise, we are able to identify these issues. So the law reform issues, and we present them to the relevant bodies. And constitutional provisions that are pronounced within the jurisprudence, the judgments. we are able to pick them up and share with the relevant bodies. So you can see there's a lot of partnership that goes into law revision, and therefore we understand that because the environment that we are in has changed, we have a role to play as an institution to support mwananchi in facilitating that information so that then it can be picked and worked on, and these laws can change. And I can confirm that some of the laws that have been mentioned by Victor here, the Public Order Act, we have the Cyber Crimes, and the Media Act, what he mentioned about the Code of Conduct and all that. So there's some work that is going on, and it is to appreciate and that in addition just to appreciating what is coming out, that the information that we pass while undertaking these protests, it needs to be packaged in such a way that it can actually get to the core implementing bodies in a way that facilitates the improvement or the enactment of these laws. Because at the end of the day, it is society that our laws come from the society. If our society, if today something changes here drastically and we have a gap in the law, we have to come up, we will show that as an interest, and we have to come up with a law. So the emerging issues from the society highly impact on our laws and how they are implemented. How clear are they? How concise are they? And all this jurisprudence, you'll find it in the website. You have all these cases. You remember when the KICA Act, Communications Act was declared unconstitutional. These were some of the things that came out. That our laws need to be clear. They need to be concise. They need to facilitate the rights that we have. But also, because limitation of rights was also mentioned earlier, is that in understanding how to express those rights and appreciating also the limitations. So looking at the laws in wholesome is what we offer as Kenya law, because then you can be able to do your research on that issue. You can, the search engine is so good now. It has been enabled. It can interpret your questions in various ways. It will even ask you, is this what you mean, or can you? So the search engine is so powerful right now that it can facilitate the information that you're looking for, but also interpret it in the way that you're looking at. So we invite you to engage and give us feedback on this so that we can be able to improve as we go along. Dean mentioned about the fear, freeze, fright. In fact, I hear nowadays is another one, faint. Fear, when you're confronted with an issue, you fear, then you fright, then you. The third one, freeze, sindio? You freeze. And then, nasikia sasa kuna fainting. There are those who faint. Is to say that at the time, if you've done your research in such a way that you have all the facts with you, you can quote your sources, you can authenticate them, especially in this arena, in this age when we are dealing with artificial intelligence, is to be very careful about that, because if your sources are authentic, you have respected intellectual property rights, because perhaps the reasoning that you're passing across, you have a reference to it, is to find out, go further and find out, is that information, is it information that is protected? And so you, as a legal practitioner, are you also protecting the rights of others who have come before you or researched before you? So what we are saying is you have no reason to fear, because your sources are authentic, but then also respecting also the rights of others cuts across, because then we are building on. We are called to build on knowledge, expand knowledge or ideas that have come, so that then our laws, our views, the way we make or draft submissions in court, we can be able to further that space, particularly for those that are behind us. And it can also help, because at the end of the day, if it is a sound judgment, it will find itself where? In the law reports. Sindio? Yeah, so we want to be reading decisions that all of you have contributed, and they have, because those are the decisions that are cited authoritatively within our courtrooms. And so as I finish, is to say that we are quite proud and very happy to join Daystar today in furthering this the first edition of this media Moot competitions, but also to say that we also signed an MOU this morning with Daystar University, and in it we have committed to support the growth of legal education by providing various things. One, in the moot court competitions, for those that meet the threshold of being the best articles, we will publish them within the Kenya Law Review Journal, which is an annual publication that we publish every year. So we have committed to doing that. We have also committed to, because of the experiences that we have and the advocacy that we put across very often when we meet schools of law, and because of the experiences that we have in publishing the law reports, conducting law revision, and publishing public legal information, that we will offer our staff who are experts in various fields to sit in as judges, so that then also they can take note of what are these emerging issues that our young professionals are actually debating on, and ideally, what can we partner with the institution as ways of publishing, joint publishing together in that area, or even it could be supporting in community service projects, CSRs that the institution has prioritized, or any other projects of that manner where we can jointly support your cause, and it can also jointly support our mandate as well. We've also committed to, in addition to offering our law, the website for purposes of research, we are open to discussing with the university in any themes that are emerging. I learned that there was a climate justice conference that that was undertaken. Those emerging areas, we are open to together discussing those ideas, and we can actually jointly publish on those areas. And particularly because when it comes to public participation, or when we have avenues where we are facing our policymakers, this is a feedback we give them. And we tell them there seems to be an emerging area in this particular area. And so if you could consider, or as laws are being drafted, because again, legal, it all starts there, the legal drafting. These could be areas that need to be looked at, so that then the laws that come out at the end of the day benefit mwananchi. I was discussing with the DVC and the Dean here earlier, and I said, a lot of our legal professionals also end up doing very good work within the community, meaning that it's a few or a portion of them will go into the practicing world. Sindio? Where you start up a law firm and you're very active in practice. But a lot of us also end up in public sector, private sector, doing very good work. That is the beauty of the legal profession. It's quite diverse. But also that a lot of the challenges that we face in society, the matters that end up in court, a lot of the times they are informed by the laws that we have or the laws that we do not have, because public interest cases will champion areas either where we have gaps in the law or areas where there's lots of violation of the law, or areas where there's need for further research, or perhaps our policymakers. It's an avenue where the public can actually seek for audience and champion some of these rights. So, in addition to the Moot Court, we are also recommending to Daystar to also simulate parliament, where students can be given a bill that is either currently, within the public, and they can actually debate on it, so that then, as part of public participation, they can further their knowledge about the public policy formulation process of the law, which we, as an institution, we are very passionate with, and we are working with various bodies in the counties, for instance, partnering with county assemblies, and trying to see, can we take them or train or together build capacities, leverage on our strengths as an institution and also as a county government, to see how can we facilitate that knowledge, because when you have a policy, then it informs a bill. When there's a bill, then you have the law, and vice versa. If that law has to be amended, there's also, it's a chain, it's a chain of events. But a lot of the times you'll find the act comes first, there's no bill, yet there's no policy yet. That is where the objective, the idea around why this law is useful, that is how it starts. So completing that cycle in a very strong way, and we are saying if we build the capacity of the legal, the students to actually understand the law formulation process, then a lot of the challenges that we have in society will be a bit different from what we have right now. So I would have said a lot, but allow me to end there by saying that we are very, very proud to be associated with this event today. And we commit, as per the memorandum of cooperation that we've signed today, to ensure that we meet our end of bargain. We look for joint resource mobilization efforts to be able to take forward the wishes of this institution and many others that we have partnered in to ensure that we can further this whole area of ensuring that our legal education space is active. It is innovative. I like what, I didn't get her name, the deputy, your deputy, she was the vice chair, the lady who spoke first, Stacy. She spoke of growth, discovery, and innovation, and that is what we desire in the legal education sector. Asanteni sana.
Wow, that was amazing. So I've been listening to you and I stand to be corrected. Jurisprudence is now trying to understand why we have laws and how we can make them fair to everyone. Yes? Am I there or? Okay, subject to discussion. So up next is Emily Maranga, on behalf of Houghton, Mr. Houghton Irungu, who was not able to make it, but we will join him shortly. So let us appreciate Ms. Emily.
I'm also going to ride on the protocols that have already been established, but also say good morning, colleagues, friends, and future defenders of justice. I'm assuming that's what you are. So I know the program says Irungu, Houghton. Unfortunately, he couldn't make it. So Sisi ndio tupo. And by Sisi, I mean my colleague James, who is here, James. And my other colleague is out there. If you want merchandise that says protect the protest, ako huko nje nazo. On behalf of Amnesty International Kenya, it's an honor to join you for the first edition of the Daystar Media Moot Court. And allow me to congratulate Mutisia. I have honestly never met a man as organized as this one. He is so organized. I don't think he has slept, to be honest, because we kept on sending him messages in the middle of the night. Tunaamka asubuhi tunapata ametutumia chenye tumeomba. So really congratulations to you and your team. It's a job well done. I'm also proud to state that out of all the universities present, we have an Amnesty chapter in almost all of them. Maseno, JKUAT, JKUAT, Moi, yeah, Riara, so Daystar, do like that, do like that. So let me start with a trivia. Najua tumeketi sana. Yeah? How many protests were there in Kenya in 2024? I have a present for whoever has the answer. How many protests did we have in 2024 in Kenya? No? Yes? 3? Where? Haya. Wewe nafikiri tuko na ambulance on standby? Ikae pale because he's going to faint when he hears the answer. Anyone have the answer? Over 1,000? Very close. Very many. Apana. The young man who has put up his hand is a member of Amnesty Board, Anthony Akolo, so I'm not going to allow him to answer. Hiyo ni rigging. We actually had 1,800 protests in 2024. So if you divide that by, if you spread them across the year, that is about how many protests per day? Si mjue hesabu juu mta calculate aje client. How will you calculate your fees? That's about 4 protests. So sadly I have to go back with this. Ubisi alisema 1,000 nimpe. Aya, shika. So this is why the theme of protecting the protest is very important. Yeah? It's very important, and it couldn't be more timely. The last 2 years saw attack of freedoms, both offline and online. We all remember people saying, oh, our Gen Z wanafanya biashara, our Gen Z wanafanya nini. But protest is not chaos. Protest is not chaos. It is democracy in motion, literally, right? It is how citizens participate when other spaces of dialogues close. It is how the voiceless insist on being heard and how nations renew their social contracts with their people, sometimes by force, if the nations will not listen to the people. Freedom of expression and freedom and peaceful assembly are not privileges. I think Prof here said they are not privileges. They are rights enshrined in our Constitution, rights that must be protected, especially when they challenge power. When we protect the protest, we protect the heartbeat of democracy itself. When we silence, we risk governing by fear instead of consent. Around the world, and especially now here in Kenya, civic space is shrinking. Voices are being labeled instead of being listened to. Voices are being abducted instead of being listened to. Voices are being killed instead of being listened to. Yet, it is through protests and open debate that society grows stronger, not weaker. It takes courage to speak truth to power, but we all are inherently courageous. We just need the right atmosphere. To the young lawyers gathered here today, You stand at a powerful intersection between law and conscience. The world you are entering needs more than legal technicalities. It needs moral leaders, lawyers who will lead and who will defend unpopular opinions, uphold the rule of law, and ensure that justice does not depend on status, does not depend on privilege, or who you know. This competition, you might think of it as a competition, but it is not just an academic exercise. It is a rehearsal for justice, a space to test your values, your voice, your vision for the kind of Kenya that you want. As you argue today, remember that every right you are defending today represents a real person out there. It may feel academic right now, but these are not cases that they pulled out of the air. These are actual cases that are happening to people out there. And your values will determine how you argue your cases. Let compassion sharpen your intellect. Let courage guide you, because the struggle for freedom of expression is not only fought in courtrooms. It is fought in classrooms, newsrooms, boardrooms, and on the streets if necessary, when citizens demand to be heard. If we want to change things, if we want justice, if we want peace, if we want freedoms, if we want to end corruption, impunity, and inequalities, we cannot give in to the current cynicism. We cannot buy into the current narrative that our political systems are broken, that the deck is already stacked against us, that the winner of election is already known. The greatest threat to our democracy, our freedoms, our voice, and our will are the opt-outs. The people who say, mimi sipigangi kura, those are the greatest threats to our freedom. I honestly have a thing where if somebody tells me, mimi sikupiga kura, I move on. I'm like, you are the people who elect bad leaders. Yeah? So, I'm going to end by saying, chukua kura. It is ongoing at the moment. Chukua kura, this is how we will end impunity. Yeah? No, please don't. I am not saying that. I am saying chukua kura. Bamboo amnesty is a big name, but we don't do political stuff. We say chukua kura because that is how our voice will be heard. That is our voice, and that is how we will elect leaders who represent us. So as you begin this journey today, I leave you with these thoughts. When the people speak, power must do what? Must listen. When people speak, thank you. I wish each and every one of you a bold, reflective, and inspiring competition. Thank you very much. Sorry. Saingine, you know, when people refuse to come and speak, you force them to speak. So there's a video from Irungu about talking to you. So I stole his time. I'm giving him back his time.
Good morning. I am so sorry not to be with you. I have traveled out of Nairobi on personal leave. However, it's a real honor to speak to you today as you prepare to engage in one of the most important debates of our time. The laws that protect Kenyans' rights to expression, assembly, and freedom from intrusive surveillance are not just abstract legal concepts. They empower all democratic and rights-based societies. They equip us to speak truth to power, to gather in solidarity, and to live without the fear of being watched simply for having a voice or an opinion. Yet across the world, even here in Kenya, these freedoms are increasingly under pressure. So as you begin To start this moot court, I urge you to remember that the law is not just about statutes and precedences, it's about people. It's about Rose and Jerry, the coder, who developed an app to make it so easy for us to comment on the 2025 finance bill. It's about David Shege and Eric Mutisia, two students who were struck down and killed for peacefully protesting against injustice. It's about the Shah accountant, Andrew Rotich, who recently exposed Shift corruption, or the activist Hanifa Aden, who continually mobilizes community for change. And yes, it's also about that whistleblower Spencer Sankali, who risked everything to reveal the truth about what was happening. This debate today is more than an academic exercise. It is a rehearsal for the kind of principled, informed...
I have traveled out of Nairobi on personal leave. However, it's a real honor to speak to you today as you prepare to engage in one of the most important debates of our time. The laws that protect Kenyans' rights to expression, assembly, and freedom from intrusive surveillance are not just abstract legal concepts. They empower all democratic and rights-based societies. They equip us to speak truth to power, to gather in solidarity, and to live without the fear of being watched simply for having a voice or an opinion. Yet across the world, even here in Kenya, these freedoms are increasingly under pressure. So as you begin to start this moot court, I urge you to remember that the law is not just about statutes and precedences, it's about people. It's about Rose and Jerry, the coder, who developed an app to make it so easy for us to comment on the 2025 finance bill. It's about David Shege and Eric Mutisia, two students who were struck down and killed for peacefully protesting against injustice. It's about the Shah accountant, Andrew Rotich, who recently exposed Shift corruption, or the activist Hanifa Aden, who continually mobilizes community for change. And yes, it's also about that whistleblower Spencer Sankali, who risked everything to reveal the truth about what was happening. This debate today is more than an academic exercise. It is a rehearsal for the kind of principled, informed, and courageous leadership that our continent needs. So interrogate the laws critically. Ask whether they serve the public interest or the interests of power. Challenge the normalization of surveillance in the name of security, but above all, defend the constitutional promise of victory and freedom. Consider that the strength of our constitutional order is not measured by how the powerful are treated, but how the rights of the least powerful are protected to speak, to gather, and to dissent. I wish you spirited and thoughtful debates. Whichever side you take, make your arguments be clear, may your convictions be deep, and may your commitment to justice be unwavering. Thank you very much. Let the moot begin.
Your name, but on behalf, you said you are presenting your boss. On behalf of your boss. Yes. Thank you very much. So on behalf of the Vice Chancellor, Daystar University, I want to take this opportunity and say it's a great honor for you to attend this inaugural event, because this is what we call the Daystar Media Moot Court competition. Is something we just conceptualized about 3-4 months ago. But now when we see it happening, we are so grateful that it can work. And that also tells you about Daystar. The School of Law, as you have seen, this particular complex is about only 1 year old since it was started. This is the first semester that we are having classes in this particular building. I think you need to thank Daystar, but also I can say we have the best facility in this region, in Kenya. I don't know what you want to say, Africa, but look at where you went to school. Then you know what I'm talking about. Look at where you went to school, then you can show. And then my student will be very proud. Student, you should be clapping. So the media, Daystar Media Moot Court competition aims to foster, Madam Janet, critical thinking, legal research, and advocacy skills among law students who are addressing contemporary challenges in media law, communication law, technology, privacy and data protection, and online assets and intellectual property. These are the things that this particular entity hopes to achieve. among other things. So what are the actual objectives? And I'm saying this because I want to tie with everything that has been said. One of the objectives is to provide a high quality legal education platform. And this is one of them. High quality legal education platform. Second, to enhance legal research and advocacy skills. Third is to promote awareness of media law and freedom of expression. And fourth, to foster a culture of legal scholarship and debate. And further, lastly, is to build a strong network within the legal community. So it means we are going very far. This is just the beginning. And I thank the team, here and your team, for the good work, organizing such an excellent event. And I know time is gone, and so I will not take a lot of your time. So from our partners, what are we looking for? On behalf of our students, we are looking for mentorship of our law students. That's one of the great things that we are looking for. And Media Council, we've done that before. We are looking for mentorship of our legal student. We are looking also for opportunity for internship for our students. We are looking for sponsorship. Some of the students you see here come from very humble background. Some of them struggle through school. Our partners, you made it in school. You know what you went through. I think you can also play a role in assisting our student, just coming forward and helping one or two students to be able to do a good job. So we are looking again, sponsorship of events. We are looking for model of best practice. And this is not just for Daystar. I see there are 17 universities represented here. All of them are looking for best practice, especially in this country. We are struggling. I ask students, who is your model? And they cannot name a model. They name Madeira. Madeira is not there. He's gone. Our students require practical, moving models who can stand out there. And Amnesty International, I've seen of late the kind of work you are doing. I think I saw Houston the other day protesting out there. And so we need this. Protecting the protests through freedom of expression. I would say this is a great development from the past, combative approach, to protest. I was looking at the journalists, what we were seeing out there, and I saw Rengo in top of a truck. I was looking myself whether I'm also there, because I used to also to be in those, but I didn't see myself. Probably I was not popular. But it's a good approach, but we also need to understand that there's a paradigm shift from that combative protest to a mentor protest, where students are now looking at, you can protest through the social media and still say the same thing, probably stronger. You can use, and you have seen many platforms. So we are saying, but even as we do this, can we do it in an ethical way? And I want really to emphasize of what has happened in this country. We protest through social media, but at some time we do it in the wrong way, putting people's images, putting others in coffins. That is protest. I think it would be criminal. But I would also say that, can we be ethical in the way we do our things? And this should be done again within the law. But again, can we practice effective communication? Let's acquire communication skills so that we know that 93% of communication is non-verbal. What you say is only 7%. 93% is coming from the way you express yourself. So when you are protesting, all that you have and what you are carrying, you may be carrying a phone, but like Victor said, you could be having what? A hammer and a pistol and a knife. Really, that's when the police see that. And by the way, I saw IPOA, they are part of this partnership. I was looking for them here. I don't know, are they there, IPOA? Because it's good. And one of the challenges I have here is to say that as we have these multi-courts, discussions. Let's involve other players. For example, the government. It's not just a student's affair. The government and also the community. About 3 months ago, I was in VU University in Amsterdam, and we participated in some of the student defenses. The defenses are not just for students. They are not just for faculty. They do it in a public library so that the community come to give their feedback. And what I'm saying, it will be very good if we have competition like this one, and the community is also involved, the government is involved, they give their views, so that when you have the media giving their story, they also get this other balanced side of the story. So I want to challenge you to do that. I want to challenge again to be very innovative and provide innovative based solutions. But more important, can you be led by integrity, strong values, and compassion, and also empathy for others. I think that's what it is Daystar for Kids. When you talk about our ethos, excellence, transformation, and leadership, we're talking about integrity, strong values, and compassion out there. So as we talk, as we attack other people, can we also be empathetic? Because when you talk bad, you're talking bad to somebody who is a father, children in school, is it? Children in school, wife somewhere or husband somewhere, and also has a parent who is probably 95, when they hear the son they brought up, who was so good, being exposed in the media, the next thing, you bury the father or the, and think about the children, what kind of stigma. So, integrity is very important. Let's be led by strong values, and also let's be empathetic in terms of what we are doing. So finally, let me say this. Matthew 5:13. Matthew 5:13, it says, "You are the salt of the earth." I know Jesus was talking to Christians, but I'm saying you are called to be the preserving salt of influence. What this means, you should have a positive influence in the world. You should also prevent the society decay. That's what we are here. Prevent society decay. Sometimes I ask, who will save our country? And I see the hope in you. I see the hope in the young people. When I see you out there protesting, but I also said protest in an ethical way. But also finally, think about the psychological and law here. Dean, the psychological impact of protesting. We do it one day. What follows in terms of psychology? The psychological impact of what we do. But, like I said, you are the what? You are the salt of the earth. Please hold that. The world depends on you. There is the reason why God created you. Please fight that purpose, even as you proceed. So at this point, I want to close this particular session, but at the same time, open the competition and declare the competition has started. Let the best team win. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Prof. Thank you so much. So moving on, we are heading into the appreciation session. And for our guests, these are small tokens from Daystar to you for just sparing time and making your way to such an occasion. Yes? So can I have the bags, please? Thank you. So, Daktari Ajon, could I please request you to come on stage? Yes. So the first person, Mr. Bwire. Yes, I'd like to call you on stage for this. Let us appreciate him. Thank you. Amazing, amazing. And then Miss Janet. Mr. John, please don't go yet. You're almost done. Yes, please. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Daktari. Thank you. And then lastly, yes, Prof, you will award Miss Emily on behalf of Mr. Irungu. Yes. Yeah. You are receiving. No, you are the one receiving. Yes. And as she's being awarded, I'd like to open the floor for photo sessions. Thank you so much, Prof. We have a booth behind there for the photo sessions. And could we have a group photo with all of you, please, here on stage? Yes, thank you. Yes. A group photo for all of us. Yes, nice. Amazing. A round of applause. Yes.
Take it all the way out.
Yes, please. Smile, guys. Smile. Let's smile for the camera. Yes. Nice. The world looks better when you guys smile. A round of applause for them as they make their way down. Amazing. So, I'd like to give Stacy the microphone to brief us on the next part, and then we'll proceed from there. Karibu sana, Stacy.
Okay. Thank you very much. Hi, guys. Are you tired? You don't look tired, though. The day is just about to begin now. So for our participants, you can remain here. We will get protocols to direct you to your courtrooms. For our judges, you can retreat back to the holding room. Protocols will also be with you shortly. And for our executives,